this day in history, April 23rd, William Shakespeare was born in 1564. Now, William Shakespeare, real awesome dude. We have a lot of things to thank him for. He was born in 1564, and we still talk about him or use words that he created or whatever on a fairly regular basis. So it's important to understand that this guy is important to literature and the English language in general. So he was an English dramatist who was born in Stratford upon Avon. This is very interesting to me. It's impossible to be certain of his exact birth date because there were no records of his exact birth date. However, church records show that he was baptized on April 26th, so it can be assumed that he was born April 23rd because it was customary to wait 3 days before baptizing a child during this time. Another interesting and weird fact is he died on his birthday in 1616 at age 52, which I think is a little bit weird. So, not a lot is known about his childhood or early life. The things that were well documented for the time would have been his later life when he gained fame. So they know he likely went to grammar school and studied Latin and read classical literature, which classical literature at this time would have been ancient Greek literature, kids, which is what we're talking about right now. Woo! And then he married at age 18. He had 2 daughters and a son, and his son died at about age 11. And he eventually kind of didn't live near his family once he started writing plays. He lived in London, so it's a little weird, but hey, guess we'll just roll with it. It already happened. So he emerged as a playwright in London in the early 1590s, and he became extremely wealthy in his lifetime. He wrote 38 plays, 154 sonnets, which if you remember anything about a sonnet, it is a poem. And then he is credited with what's called iambic pentameter, which is a way things are phrased within a poem. It creates rhythm within a poem. You'll learn more about that when you get older. And then he revived Greek comedies and tragedies. William Shakespeare lived during the Renaissance, okay? Renaissance means rebirth of culture, and it's this kind of cycling back to what we're learning about right now. Ancient Greece, ancient Rome, these times where art and literature and all these beautiful things were important. Well, then we hit this dark ages and things are a little different. And it's a lot different in the world at the beginning, kind of starting in the 8th century, 9th century. Things get a little dark and broody, right? And then we hit the Renaissance and things get kind of this resurgence of the classics. And so that's what he was known for. He added 3,000 words to the English language, which is incredible. That's a lot. And some of his best known phrases are things that you've probably heard of, like kill them with kindness, a wild goose chase, knock, knock, who's there? So I love that William Shakespeare is the one that's credited with those and many other phrases and words. Those are just the ones I felt like you guys would know. So yes, William Shakespeare was born on this day in 1564. So the Chapter 27 ISN, for this ISN, you will be responsible for filling in the key term definitions on here. Remember, those are the blue bolded terms. So let me get my little pointer. Those are the blue bolded terms. So you have quite a few over here, and you need to make sure you define all of those. Section 2 is pretty straightforward. You need to briefly describe Athens and Sparta. Then this is where it gets a little funny. Okay, how you're going to move through the ISN is you're going to do one topic at a time, but read about both city-states, okay? So you're going to read about government. Athens' government is section 3. Sparta's government is section 7. So if you look in the book, and I think I'm going to assign it where you do sections like 3 through 5 or whatever. So you have to remember you're only going to fill out the Athens part for that. So just be aware